Okay, the first topic is about supervised and unsupervised learning, their definitions, how to recognize them, and all related issues. So, in the broadest sense, machine learning problems are either supervised or unsupervised. These two terms are not very intuitive. The naming is not very intuitive. So we should learn the definitions and think about them a little bit till it is crystal clear for you that what is a supervised machine learning problem and what is an unsupervised machine learning problem. Let's start with the first one, the supervised. In the supervised learning problems, the method learns how to establish a relation between predictors and the target. Let's have this imaginary problem. This is a data set, okay? And let's say that this data set is about different flights of different airlines, and we want to predict the delay of a flight. At the end, we want to use this data set to train a model to predict flight delay. Okay? And what are the input variables? What are the variables that we want to use in order to predict this target? Well, let's say the airline, the origin airport, destination airport, time of the flight, weekday of the flight, month of the flight, and more. In a supervised learning problem, we have a target variable. So this is the key to distinguish supervised from unsupervised. Supervised has a target variable. It has a variable to be predicted. Okay? We want to predict flight delay based on the basis of this set of variables. On the basis of airline, region, destination, time, weekday, month, and more. Okay? So let's assume that there is no more, and these are only the variables that we want to use, and we want to predict the flight delay. This prediction we will learn when you work in the next week. We will start working on predictive modeling, and you will see that how the models learn, how the methods learn from a data set, and how you can do predictions. But such a problem is called a supervised machine learning problem, because the method is being supervised by the target variable to learn the relation between these predictors and the target. So here is the relation, and the method tries to learn this relation, the method tries to figure out this relation. And it is called supervised because learning is supervised, is under supervision of the target variable. So there is a correct outcome. Okay, exactly. We know for let's say the first flight, we exactly know the amount of delay. Okay, there is a correct outcome, a target. The machine tries to learn how to predict how the predictors are associated or related with this correct outcome. The target, response, output, dependent variable, these are all equivalent terms, supervises the learning of the machine. And when we talk about machine, we talk about a method. Let's clarify through another example. Let's assume that we want to build a robot, that can recognize ripe apple from unripe apple. So this one seems to me ripe. This one seems to me unripe. We want to teach a robot to distinguish these two. So if we show a picture of an apple to this robot, it will tell us whether it's ripe or whether it's unripe. Here we know that for every case, this is one case, this is another case, there is a clear outcome, there is a target. So we want to use the features related to this case or this case to predict the target. Let's call the target the apple status. Okay? And what are the features of our cases? Well, we can say color. We can say size. You might find other features, but here we just use this example to clarify what supervised learning is. There are a set of predictors, and these features are predictors. So predictors are the features that we use to predict the target. Or these are the features based on which we predict the target. Data set would be something like this. This ID is not a predictor, it's just identification of the rows. These two are predictors. Okay, and this is the target. So we are telling our robot that, okay, look at the first record. These two are predictors, and this is the target. So somehow you have to try to learn that how these predictors are related to this specific target value. And then the second record and so on and so forth. Okay? So the robot is learning while under supervision of the target variable. The method somehow tries to learn the association between the target values and corresponding predictor values. This learning is called supervised, as it is supervised by the target variable. So the point is, the very, very important point, the distinguishing factor, the discerning factor is, in supervised learning we have a target variable. And you might guess that in unsupervised learning, we don't have a target variable. This is exactly the topic of unsupervised learning.